Hey y'all, my name is Sophia Kaiser and welcome to my first YouTube video. So today we're going to be recreating avatar makeup. I'm so excited. First thing we're going to be doing is dipping into this May Dear water-based light blue face paint, and we're basically going to be using this all over the face just as like a simple base. Ideally, you would use a significantly larger brush than this, or a beauty blender if that's what you prefer. I prefer brushes just because I feel like beauty blenders absorb so much product. I use my fingers for like concealer or foundation, but I have no large brushes with me at the moment, so I'm just stuck with this. Not looking forward to getting this out of my hairline later, but whatever, it is what it is. Here's me saying that I look like a Smurf. And because I'm using a water-based paint, when I add more paint with more water, sometimes it lifts the paint off of my skin, so you really want to go in with some second layers. So now I'm going to go in with this dark blue paint to contour the face, and I ended up absolutely hating this paint. You can see already how it's just lifting off of the skin. There's no pigment whatsoever. So instead, I'm going to go in with this Made You Look dark blue face paint. It is so much better. Again, it's water-based, so it really easily blends in with that lighter blue. Notice how I'm not swiping the paint back and forth. Instead, I'm doing like these feathery motions, blending it towards the center of my face. In the end, that's going to make it easier to blend it in later. I'm going to use that dark blue to contour the top of my forehead, snatch those temples right above my eyebrows. I'm going to contour my cheekbones, my jawline, and then here I'm just going to fill in my eyelids. Here is one side all complete. Look how cool that's looking. So now we're going to recreate that. So starting from that outer corner of my eye, I'm basically just going to follow the natural shape, draw a line up, and then literally fill it in and bring it up to that dark blue. That's how easy it is. You're literally following the line of your waterline, of that lower lash line of your eye. So now I'm going to go in with the same Made You Look paint, but in white. And then I'm going to use that to highlight the center parts of my face. So I'm going to start with my forehead, and then I'm going to bring that down to widen the nose. Normally when doing nose contour, you like to make your nose look as tiny and snatched as possible, but for Avatar, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to really highlight the center, make it as wide looking as possible. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight my under eyes and then bring it up the sides of my cheekbones right underneath that dark blue line, just to really highlight that and make it look uplifting. And now I'm going to use that same white paint and then put it on the tip of my chin and then kind of blend it down the sides of my jaw. And don't worry about blending everything right away. We can always go back in later and blend everything together. Right now I'm just kind of laying down like the main highlights and the main contours of the face. Here I am trying to figure out which side of the beauty blender to use. But something that happened here when I went in with the beauty blender is that it was just, like I said earlier, absorbing the product and taking it off of my skin. So here I am trying to blend everything in on my forehead, but it literally was doing nothing. So clearly there's a little bit of a problem here. My original idea was just to use the beauty blender to blend all of the colors together, but clearly that wasn't working. It was dry, and where it was wet, it was just lifting up the product. So what I'm doing here instead is I'm again using those feathering motions to try to blend the colors together, and I'm going back and forth in between using the darker colors and the lighter colors to try to blend them into that medium blue tone in the center. The blending started to stress me out, so now I'm just going in with white to highlight the center a little bit more, and I'm widening my nose even more. And now I had to go back to the problem at hand and start blending again, which I was really unhappy about. I was not enjoying it. You could see it was just not really blending, and then at times, because I was using water-based paint, it was just lifting some of the paint off of my skin, so I had to go back in here and do touch-ups and add more color, and it was just a pain. I really wanted to just ignore the whole chin and jaw problem, but alas, we're back to it. So what I'm doing here is I'm adding more color back to it, and blending it out wasn't really working, so I tried to use my fingers to tap at it, but it was just honestly doing the same thing that a beauty blender was doing, and it was like picking up some of the product. So I ended up giving up and then just going back in with that medium tone blue to literally just get rid of everything that I just did. And with the crisis averted, now we can go into snatching that nose. So what I'm doing is I'm going in with that dark blue, very, very lightly just going down the sides of my nose and then blending that dark blue down. And now that we're all done with the paints, we're gonna set everything in place using eyeshadows and powders. And yeah, I'm using the James Charles X Morphe palette. I know there's a little bit of a controversy, but it gets the job done. So I'm gonna go in with the white on the white paint parts of the face, if that made any sense. And then I'm gonna use this Dew Color Space Blue palette to set the blue parts of the face. So right now I'm grabbing a blue that looked similar to that mid-tone blue, and we're just gonna go in and set everything. My cat's joining me. I don't know if you can hear her. Here, purr. Do y'all hear that? So now I'm going in with the dark blue in that palette, and I'm gonna set my eyelids, which are gonna crease. There's not much you can do about that. Don't worry about it because you're gonna have your eyes open anyway. Nobody's gonna be able to see it. I'm gonna use that same dark blue, blend that into that mid-tone blue that we used. Use that to contour my face a little bit more, and yeah. And now we're gonna be going in with one of my favorite palettes of all time. It is the Nikki Tutorials Nimya palette. We're gonna be using that dark blue to basically contour the crease of the eye and then snatch that upwards with that dark line. I'm really focusing most of that color on that outer V of my eye, and I'm using it to blend it in towards that inner corner. Starting with the other eye, just so you can see the process a little bit more. You only start with a little bit of pigment at a time, and you're gonna add more and more. It'll build its way up. See how I'm darkening that outer V, and then I'm gonna drag that in towards my inner corner a little bit, and then I'm gonna wing it out with that dark line. You're just gonna keep adding a little bit more product at a time, and then do those windshield wiper motions to deepen that crease. And now using this blue Space Dew Color palette, I'm gonna go in with this lighter shade just to put on the lid of my eye to try to make it look like a cut crease, make the lids of my eyes stand out a little bit. Using the same dark blue from earlier, and I'm gonna use an angled contour brush kind of thing. I usually use it for nose contour. I'm gonna use that to make lines going down from the top of my forehead, from like my hairline. And then I'm gonna make them look more triangular shaped at the top, and then thinner when they come down towards the bottom. The way I did it is I just started with one in the middle and then made it symmetrical on both sides. If you ever make the lines too thick, you can do what I did here, and I just used my finger to like tap it out to blend it in with the rest of my forehead, I guess. Again, just continuing making it thicker at the top and then thinner towards the bottom. This is where we're at so far, looking cute. You can see I did a little line on one of my cheekbones, and I'm gonna show you how I did it on the other side. With these cheekbone stripes, I'm just making them a little bit above where the actual cheekbone contour was. Again, making them thicker towards my hairline and then thinner as they go towards my face. Massive time skip because I accidentally lost my footage, but I added the tip of my nose using a light pink, and then I also did my entire neck and chest. Basically, it's just the same techniques as my face, just with the blues and then adding the stripes. Using black eyeshadow or a very, very dark blue, I'm gonna basically tight line my eyes, adding a thin black liner above it and a very small wing just to make my eyes stand out more. We're almost done, I swear, I swear. Now we're gonna add some white dots to my forehead and then under my eyes, and then bring them up on my cheeks. And then I'm extra, so naturally I'm gonna put it in my hairline as well. And my favorite part, the contacts. And then here's me like geeking out because the fangs look so cool. Are you kidding me? Adding my final touches. And then the final reveal in 3, 2, oh wait, I forgot, I struggled with my hair tie, hang on. Anyway, here it is. All of my social medias are gonna be tagged in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and bye!